ACDC is back. That's a phrase a lot of rock fans feared they'd never hear. And in 2020, it's a phrase and a sound that couldn't be more welcome. Let's flip the switch on my review of Power Up by ACDC. That's next on Track by Track. Hey everybody, my name's Kyle and this is Track by Track, music reviews, news, and commentary. Thanks for tuning in today, and if this is your first time here, please take a second to click subscribe so that you won't miss future reviews and more. Recently, Foo Fighters announced that their upcoming album, Medicine at Midnight, is going to be what Dave Grohl called a party album. Then they released the song Shame Shame, which was anything but a party. Meanwhile, ACDC fans have been rocking out to their new song, Shot in the Dark, for nearly a month, a song that feels like the very antithesis to what the Foo Fighters served up. If ACDC had said their new album, Power Up, was going to be a party album based on Shot in the Dark, I would have believed them. Not that we needed that sonic evidence. Have ACDC ever not released a party album? Their music was and continues to be the perfect soundtrack for Friday night keggers. Power Up is no exception. In fact, No Exception might have actually made for a better title. If ever there was an album by a legacy rock act that delivered on expectations, this is it. On their 2020 effort, the boys from Down Under essentially power on more than they power up. Nothing here represents an evolution or even elevation of their sound, and I don't mean that in any negative way. This is ACDC doing what ACDC does best. There's no surprises here, just good old-fashioned macho party rock songs like the band has been cranking out for half a century. When I reviewed Shot in the Dark previously, I talked about how refreshing that was. And now, with the full album, I mostly feel the same way. I mean, let's keep in mind just what kind of music ACDC makes and not get too caught up in thinking of it as high art. You don't listen to their music for deep thoughts, you listen to it for a more primal experience. And if I'm being honest, a very male-skewed primal experience at that. If any contemporary band had released a song like Rejection in 2020, it might have spelled the end of their career. Cancel culture would not have it. I mean, a lyric like, "If you reject me, I take what I want," sounds exactly like something the Me Too movement would protest over. There's nothing about the song, or any song on Power Up, that is anything close to politically correct. Most of the lyrics, though, veer much more toward blatant sexual innuendo than misogyny. Take the song Money Shot, for example. From the title alone, you probably know what to expect. On the chorus, we get the lyrics, "Doctor, what's the antidote? Lady, try the money shot, best taken when hot." What other band could pull off a line like that today? And truth be told, the lyrics are the most provocative thing about the song. The music itself is fairly by the numbers. The same can be said for much of the music on Power Up, actually. Songs like Realize, Wild Reputation, and Code Red all closely follow the ACDC formula to deliver reasonably solid rockers you'll enjoy in the moment, but probably forget not long after the tracks end. But you know, part of what makes a good party album is music you can play in the background to keep everyone's energy and mood up without being too distracting. Power Up could easily fill that void, and then some. Take a song like Demon Fire. The track is centered around a really cool guitar riff that will burrow into your subconscious like any good earworm. It's very reminiscent of Aerosmith, actually, another band that knows how to craft a perfectly hooky guitar lick. And sticking with the supernatural theme, the band trades on the familiar with the opening riff on Witch's Spell, creating a moment that makes you go, "Wait, is this?" Insert classic ACDC song title here. It definitely captures your attention. Lyrically, though, it's an example of how pedestrian most of these songs actually are. While the band does drop a lot of trademark innuendo throughout the album, there's far more lazy rhymes than clever turns of phrase. "Caught in a witch's spell, got a tale to tell," is a first draft chorus if I ever heard one. But there are moments across the album where the band does experience a bit of a power surge, so to speak. I really like the staccato guitars and chord structure on Systems Down. I dig the way the song builds, as well as what may be the best guitar solo on the album. Then on No Man's Land, we get a track very rooted in blues structure and melody, but painted over with that trademark ACDC sound. I'd actually love to hear the band perform this track unplugged. I think it could be even better in that format. The two truly standout tracks on the album, though, have to be Shot in the Dark and Kick You When You're Down. I did a full review of Shot in the Dark previously, so if you've seen that, you've already heard me sing its praises. For me, it's a perfect return to form for ACDC. It's a song with an irresistible hook and exactly the kind of sly lyrical phrasing that helped make these guys the legends they are today. When you think of ACDC, this is the kind of song you imagine. Then on Kick You When You're Down, we get a classic guy's lament about how his woman treats him so bad. With its stabbing guitars, its stomp rock beat, and its oh no sing-along chorus, this song could have been a huge hit in the 80s. Today, we have to hope we ever get to hear this one live because it would tear the roof off any arena. This week, a viewer asked me if I thought Motley Crue should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, without going down the rabbit hole that is the debate over the Rock Hall, I responded that yes, I do think they belong there. Both Motley Crue and ACDC are kind of cut from the same cloth. In fact, we probably couldn't have a band like Crue without a band like ACDC laying the foundation first. A word I used before sums them up well, I think, and that's primal. ACDC has built their legacy on creating irresistible, primal rock music. It's not music for the head, not music for the heart. It's music for the stomping feet or the pounding fist, or often some other primal urges. On their 2020 effort, ACDC sounds as good or better than you'd hope or possibly expect they would. Brian Johnson is in great vocal form, as Johnson's vocals go, and the rest of the band strongly delivers at a level that's still quite impressive at this stage in their career. And while there's nothing patently new or unexpected anywhere within this brisk 41-minute 12-song cycle, it's unquestionably refreshing to hear these guys flip the switch to on once more. So I'm giving Power Up by ACDC an X rating of 7 out of 10. It's a strong return to form for these legendary rockers and quite possibly the party album 2020 so desperately needed. Once again, my name's Kyle and this has been Track by Track. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, plus check out some of these other videos below that I think you might also enjoy. And of course, be sure to click subscribe because true music fans always want new releases the day they come out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.